Hello, this is Mike Lively from Northern Kentucky University, and today we're going to talk about Flexpress 3. And we're going to grab that XML data, which is in our MySQL database on our WAMP server. Let's take a look at the WAMP server and show you where that exists on our local machine. So go over here to Start, and we're going to right-click and go to Explore. And let's go back up here. And if you recall, we installed the WAMP server on the C drive, so let's click on C. Under WAMP, and under www, the root, and there's our project, MyFlexpress proj-debug. And there's our files, and we'll be referring to those files during this tutorial. So I just wanted to show you where they are on the C drive. So let's go back to our Flex project. And let's remind ourselves, we're on MyFlexpress proj. Let's open that up and run this project. And last time we actually generated some code automatically, and that application was called wp_post. So let's click on that. Let's try to run that application. And when we try to run the application, we see it doesn't run. There's an error. And what I told you last time, one thing you want to check out is if your application is not running, make sure your WAMP server is turned on. In our case, our WAMP server is off. So let's go down there and turn it on, show you how to do that. Go to Start, and go to Run and WAMP server, and click Start WAMP server. And then an icon, a WAMP icon, will appear in your system tray. There's our WAMP icon right there. It tells us that our WAMP server is running, and you can click on that and access various aspects of the WAMP server, such as phpMyAdmin. So now let's go and try to run the Flex project. So click on wp_post and click the Run button. And now you see, there's all those tables, which really mean very little to me. It's very confusing, so I want to actually look at it from another perspective, and that's the XML perspective. In order to do that, I'm going to actually copy this address right up here, and we're going to do a little bit of work on that. So we've cut and pasted our address into Word so you can see it a little bit better, and we're going to do a little bit of work on this address. We're not going to refer to the HTML file, which is in the WAMP server. We're actually going to refer to a PHP file, which is there, and declare a method. So let's put in a question mark. Method equals find all. Now let's paste this into a browser and see what we get. So let's copy that and bring up a browser. And let's resize this browser using Sizer. And now let's paste this in. And when you run that, what we get is all the XML. And so those tables were so crammed together in my application I really couldn't understand them. But when I look at this XML, it makes total sense to me. Here's all the data, here's the post, and here's all the information that come along with the post, the dates and the addresses and everything else. So this makes me feel really good. And now I'm actually going to show you how to grab this data and bring it right into Flex. So I'm back in Flex. I'm going to create an application that will bring in that XML. So let's go ahead and start that. And if you ever had a question, well, is Flex similar to Ajax? Here you got it, because it has an HTTP service request which brings that data in asynchronously. Let's start with that request. And that request is MX HTTP service. And just click on that code hinting. That'll help you out. We'll give it an ID of my post. And the URL that we're going to use is the same URL that we use to grab the XML data. So let's go ahead and put that in. And it should still be in your clipboard, so let's go ahead and copy and paste it. So let's paste it right here. And you can see the full address with the local host and the method equals find all. And then we'll go ahead and close off this command with a / sign. Okay, so that's the first part. And so what's going to happen here is we're going to issue this SP service command, which is going to grab the data from the local host. Now, in order for this command to run, we have to generate a send command in the application tag. So let's go ahead and do that right now. We're going to put in a new command here. It's going to be creation complete. So when the application creation is completed, then we want to run the following command, equals double quotes and equals my post dot send. And so what that does, it refers to the HTTP service request, which has the ID of my post, and it runs that service request. So I'm going to double click here so we can see the whole screen. There we go. And these lines are kind of long, so let's come right here. And now when I run that service request, I also want to run a function inside of it, and I'm going to create a handler here, and I'm going to call it result my result handler, and so it's going to execute this function. And we'll put an event in here. Cool. And so if we have a function that's going to be executed, we need a function, so let's go ahead and create some action script here. So I'm going to go ahead and go mx script, and there's my code hitting. Go ahead and click on that. And let's close that. Cool. And now let's go ahead and write the action script that's needed. So I'm going to create a function which is private function my result handler, the same name as we had in the HTTP service request. Event result event. And now what's happened automatically, which I think is so super cool, is you've actually imported the class necessary to run the function. Okay, and void, just like typically for the Flex programming as far as functions are concerned. Let's put in some curly brackets. And we'll just put them down here so you can see them. And when I run the HTTP service on the complete method, then this function will run, and whatever is inside of this will be executed inside those curly brackets. Now let's go ahead and do something pretty cool here. We're going to right-click on line 15, and we're going to toggle a breakpoint. And so we're going to run this and see actually what happens in the variable side. So let's go ahead and run it. And we want to run it in debug mode. So click on debug, and let's run. And it's asking me, hey, do you want to open the debugger? And it says, yes, let's take a look at debugger. And I want to click on variables. And what I see here is that the handler is going to bring in these variables. Let's click on event, click on result, click on response, click on data, and click on row. A lot of stuff to click on there. But when you do that, what you're going to see is you suddenly start to see all this data being brought in to our application. I'm going to click on one of these, for example, 0. And you're starting to see all the data that was in the XML is actually being brought into the Flex application. So you can click on these various objects, and there you see right there the data is being brought in. And so we're not quite done yet. We actually want to work with what's called an array collection. So we're going to bring all this data into our array collection.